So, this is your host, Steve from the back, coming at you again um, with I guess I would call this, a cryptid type of rant, a spiritual type of rant, a fringy, cringy rant as always. This is one of those rants, but, I've just been thinking about this and I figure, I might as well just talk on it. So, you get a lot of people in the community, I like to call it, in the cryptozoology fringe community that we have. And this this video is not really a video to bash, to not bash on anyone. This video isn't to bash on any particular group of any belief system or anything. Uh, this isn't a video. This isn't like an immature rant. That's how I'll put it. It's not immature. This isn't going to be a bashing rant. That's going to be immature. So this is not to bash Christians. This is not to bash New Age thinkers or whatever you want to call it. This is not to bash things that are maybe even hippy dippy or whatever. This isn't to like bash on anyone really. This is just my rant talking about those who I was about to say, I thought my computer was going to be interrupted by Steam. Steam, get off my screen. So, this video is kind of more or less like to just kind of talk about like those of us who are like myself who are satanic, who are regular people that work a sort of 9 to 5 job. I just got off a dishwashing shift and I'm fucking soaked. This is disgusting. My clothes are wet. My boots look like shit. I mean, sometimes I don't care about having that dirty painter look with all the dirt and all, so I don't care. But I would like to sometimes have boots or clothes that are not just dirty all the fucking time. But, so I just came off my shift and I'm thinking like, not all of us are Christians. Not all of us are like Christians. Some of us believe in the aspect of like field investigation and we know about cryptozoology and we're interested in it. But we also, like myself, are left-hand path leaning. So we're into the so-called black magic. You know what I mean? We're intrigued by that side of things. And I hear sometimes people sometimes people with this notion, they have this notion that there's like this sort of what do you call it? It almost sounds cringe saying it. Like they think there's this war or something that's going to somehow, or already is, that there's this like war, so to speak, against good and evil, and this like war against like literal cryptids. Like these cryptids are all bad, and there's this war going on almost between like what's of so-called light and what's of the so-called devil or darkness, and there's supposed to be this big separation. And there's this weird idea of those who are on this side and then those who are on that side. You know, there's this weird fucking concept of like things being so separate from each other when, in my opinion, they're not exactly that separate from each other regardless. You know, this whole the good against like really good against evil. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, there is some truth to that, though. I'll admit there is something to that. But this rant is more about to say like, you know, join this side, like join me, you know, join us. Be on those of us that are on the side of the so-called dark side or darker side of things. Um, because what you have to realize is like I've talked about this before about how as the world changes and as things change, how maybe what someone might deem as like a bad thing may be good for you, depending on who you are. You know, like a person like myself, you know, so I'm like looking at it in a different type of perspective. And like I'll say again, I'm not knocking on other people's channels because I watch their content. You know, I like their channels. Um, I'm just saying my perspective can't be their perspective. Does that make any sense? Like, it's not because what I'm saying is it's not like I have much of a choice. And I don't want to have that choice. That's the thing too. I don't really care for you know, I don't wake up in the morning and care so much for the idea or have any romanticized thoughts about the idea of a Christian life. I have no wants with that. I have no there's no appeal to me there. There's nothing there that appeals to me. It just doesn't. Um and the fact that people with certain and I'm not trying to disrespect them either. That's the thing. I'm not even trying to like disrespect them because I'm mature enough to be beyond that. That's the thing. I'm actually that mature that I don't have to like resort to like what Christians in their Bible would call like railing accusations against people. I don't have to derail people to really make a point actually. I don't really have to be secure in things. I don't have to like I don't have to go there. Like I don't have to even try to attempt that. What I'm just saying is when you realize what a certain set of beliefs may entail for yourself, you realize that there may be certain sacrifices that you have to make. And is it worth sacrificing certain things that you desire yourself? Maybe not. Maybe yes. In my opinion, personally, I just choose to say no. You know what I mean? It's just a simple no. It's just that I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna make it by my own means and make it in another way. I'm not going to go down the path of Christianity and renounce and denounce all these other things and try to discredit or try to like um put a false narrative on certain other things. That's just not what I'm going to do. Like, and then also, that's not appealing to me. That's another thing. There's not. It doesn't appeal to me to have this like restricted, such a restricted type of spirituality or lifestyle. Like, what is that? What does that do for me? It doesn't do anything. You know, it's actually annoying to me in a way. Like to think of that. That is a thought. Now I'll admit openly, and I've admit this many times before about how like I understand that there is a possible danger when you get into this whole cryptozoology, spiritual, when you start getting into this stuff, there is actual danger, possibly for you, for damn near almost any person, um, because you're dealing with individuals. You have to understand, like, an entity in itself is an individual. It's not a cookie cutter thing or a piece of some type of code that you can just expect every certain thing from, or not expect every certain thing from, and think that you know exactly what you're dealing with, in because you maybe don't. Like, there's things I've heard about that actually, whether I can't say I know these things are even real, but there's things that I've heard about to me that intimidate me to a degree. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll just be upfront. They intimidate me to a certain degree. Think imagining it, because, like I said, um, you don't know exactly always what you're dealing with. But the point I'm trying to make is, a person like myself is more or less open to things of a dark nature. So I at least feel comfortable with the thought of that maybe something isn't necessarily so dangerous for myself. You know, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Um, you know, when you're dealing with this whole cryptid stuff and this whole field investigation type of stuff, you know, um, and I hear a lot of stories, man. Like, a lot of stories. You know, for I hear a lot of stuff from people. I'm thinking, like, well, yeah, that does sound pretty dangerous, pretty scary, actually. But I'm thinking, like, I don't know, what's the worst that could happen to someone like myself? What really is? What's really what that I'm gonna, like, go missing or something? Go missing into what? You know, it's like that my miserable friggin' work day grind, weekly grind, slave labor. Like, you mean to tell me that what, death is gonna be, like, worse than that? I don't necessarily buy that for a second, honestly. What, getting mauled to death or something, going missing? What am I gonna be, like, eaten or something? This is things that I talk about when I talk about this cryptozoology thing, because I feel like a lot of people, like I've said this before, a lot of people just have different circumstances in life. And a person like myself, someone could say, oh, well, that just makes you just a loser. I mean, that's okay, fine. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But from my perspective, I look at it like these so-called maybe winners, supposedly. Even that, I'm not saying that's a narrative that they even put out there, but I'm just saying, like, from, viewers' perspective, people watch YouTube, viewers, they'll be like, well, you're just hating on this guy's channel because he's successful, because he has all these. No, I'm not hating on anyone. What I'm saying is, I'm saying when you're in a position that necessarily you might not have to have this bullshit loser type of lifestyle, like, struggling, working, and I mean working in a fucking, what's the word, entry level shitty type of way. Like, you're just, like dishwashing, like when we're doing now, you're, that type of shit. Like, you're working, you know, you maybe get like 2 days off from work or whatever. You come home dirty and tired or whatever. You're not on YouTube like that. You don't have, like, that type of channel yet. Hopefully someday I do have that type of channel. So this is not like Cryptid Brothers. This is not Cryptid Round Table. This is not Dark Waters. That's what I'm trying to say. This is none of those. Now, are those great channels? Yes. Are those good men? Of course they are. Like I said, I'm not knocking on it. I'm not disrespecting or knocking on any of those people. I'm just saying that a lot of those type of people's perspectives on things is very different from mine. Like it's not even close. Um, Mainly because a lot of those people are God fearing people. That's actually the first thing I have to say. There's a difference between a God fearing person and a child of darkness. Obviously and clearly a child of darkness, and that's why this channel is what it is. That's why this is a satanic channel. That's why this is a left hand path channel. That's because it's from my perspective, right? A person like myself. And I'm just saying, like, for me, it doesn't seem like a threat. It doesn't seem like, oh, the world is changing in a dark way. You know, people are seeing these things more and more out in the open. You know, people like the way they talk about it, I'm like thinking like, how is that a bad thing? You know, like, oh, people see these things in formation. You know, they're in strategic formation. Like you got the dog man here, you got the Sasquatch thing there, you got the little gray things back there. You know, you got things in the trees, and it's just like almost as if like they are guarding something, like they're putting themselves in literal position and trying to make a point, or they're trying to maybe encroach more and more upon supposed our territory as human beings, like they're seeming to get more comfortable. How is that a bad thing? You know, like in my and I'm about to close soon. Is this fuck having this rant go on forever? If it was to be a full-on Armageddon, literally, like a full-on Armageddon, pretty much, or an invasion or something, I would actually love to see that. I would love to see people's houses torn up, all types of shit flipped over, people run out of their homes that used to be occupied by human beings now occupied by other things, um, terror in the streets, chaos, destruction, things completely flipped upside down. And one of the reasons why someone will say, no, that sounds horrible. Why would you ever wish that on anyone? Why would you ever wish something like that? Well, for a couple of reasons. For one, because from my perspective, nothing ever seemed right anyway. Nothing ever seemed right as it was. Everything always seemed like a mistake or holding on by a thread. Like, you ever seen something in society and you're thinking like, well, you kind of know like that's only holding itself together by threads. Like it's not really that substantial, and it really could get rocked. And you're looking at it like, well, why is this so successful, or why does this? Why it just doesn't seem to fit with you for some reason. You're like, why does this? Like you keep asking why? Why is this supposedly normal, but it just seems like it's so paper thin and held on by a thread, almost leading you to believe that there's something more um nefarious going on. Like you're like, this can't be just what it is. Like you know, why this can't be working like for good reason. Not saying like you want to always destroy things that are good or destroy things that are stable for the sake of it, but sometimes you look at things and you think, well, like, you know, like I wonder if it was different. You know, like that's how I've always looked at things. And then like I was saying before, from my perspective, um especially being a person working, you know, like I said, working a shitty job where you have to get up, you know, you have to do things you don't want to do. It's kind of annoying because you're thinking of all the stuff you could be doing. You think like there's such a vast world out there, and I'm here doing this. Like this just doesn't fit with me. It just doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to fit. Like something seems off. From my perspective, it just seems right. I don't know how that sounds horrible. A lot, like I said before many times, a lot of stuff that's going to come out of my mouth is going to seem horrible. But YouTube being YouTube, you people claiming you want to be entertained, well, you're about to be fucking really fucking entertained. because instead of just like keeping the thought to myself and not saying it, I'm fucking saying it and letting everybody hear it, not giving a fuck, just letting everyone hear it so they can understand what's going through my head instead of looking at me like in some awkward fucking look, being thinking like, oh, what is he thinking? Like, I wonder what he's gonna do. Like, what is he gonna do next? You know, I just wonder. You don't have to fucking ask because I'm just saying it now. You know, so that's my thoughts on that whole thing. Like, you guys are talking about, cryptids. You're talking about them seemingly encroaching upon territory. You're talking about rises and sightings. You're talking about, all this stuff. And like I said again, from my perspective, uh if you ask me, like, would I like to see that increase and increase and increase almost until it's something that's so in your face, that's undeniable, or even to a just destructive manner or a hostile manner? Yeah, I would love to see that. Of course, I would like to see it, you know? Because to some degree, and it's gonna sound fucked up, but I don't even give a fuck. I'm just saying it as it is. I would like to be forced into a situation where it's not a choice that I have to like do something. Now it would be that I have to take action, and I no longer have the choice of saying, "Oh, well, maybe I'll just quit. Maybe I'll just become a homeless bum. Maybe I'll just commit suicide or something. Maybe I'll just self-medicate, or maybe I'll just do this or that to try to escape in a stupid way the fact that I feel like a slave going, doing this over and over, having to do this that I don't want, having to be around this people or that person or this person that I don't want to be around, having to do this, that, and third, living this type of life that I can't stand, that does not match with me, that has nothing to do with me as a person, just for survival. It would put me in a position to where um, all of that is washed away in a very destructive, very violent way, and it's not in my control. So maybe I'll feel a little bit better with myself that it wasn't like I said, I had to just walk off a job, be a statistic of suicide, be whatever statistic of whatever statistic, whatever, be this person. No, it's a state of emergency. Like, could you literally, man? I don't think that would actually happen. Now, I think, okay, I'll give you my what I think. This is my theory. My theory on that is that as the world evolves, that there will be a seamless transition to where our life as we live it is involved with unknown things, ETs, cryptids is involved with all that. It's just the world will change so much in a seamless way. Like, obviously, I think there will be like a big disclosure, there'll be a big this and that, there'll be things on the news, people, but I think what will actually end up happening, I honestly think it will be a very seamless type of integration and transition because, like always, there's always more advanced, more intelligent, more, what's the word, malevolent, not malevolent or so much like violent and combative. There's always forces that already have the, let's just say, more animalistic type of beings more in line to the fact to where they're not going to let it be like that. They're not going to let that happen. So I don't think that's really a realistic thing. Now, here and there, I think what people are experiencing is simply just beings that are like, get the fuck out of my space. Why are you here? You're not doing anything for me. Get out of my fucking space. I'm who's boss out here. I'm the one who's fucking boss. You're a little puny thing. Get out of my space, or if you know what's good for you. And that's usually what that is. I think that's generally what that is. When people run across beings in the backyard, you know, beings hitting the door so hard that the whole garage rattles, half the side of the house rattles. A being that's like 10 feet plus pounds, beyond 800 pounds plus pounds, muscular being banging on the side of the house, letting you know that I could get in there any second and stay out of my fucking way, like a gorilla or something, you know what I mean? I think that's what people come across. Not necessarily this whole idea of, some almost comic book like Armageddon style, apocalypse like, sci fi movie esque, Hollywood esque, assault of these beings, just pretty much raiding people's house, just on some type of raid or crusade almost. And they were just like, okay, this is the uprising. We've had enough, and we're gonna take over everything. Like, no, there's more advanced beings out there than those things. Like things that people come into contact with. And that's another side of the coin. I feel like is where I get into not insulting, but saying like I feel like people who are of the so-called light and Christianity and this and that and all, I feel like they are lacking to us to some degree because those beings that are like I said before, like up there that are more benevolent realize our ignorance, and that's Christians included that think they maybe know, So I feel like those type of beings are not gonna let they're not gonna let just like they're not gonna let us destroy ourselves. They're not gonna let us as humans do some nuclear shit or have some type of war that we're gonna destroy ourselves. They're not gonna let that happen. So like I said, at the end of the day, things are seamless. It's a very seamless blending of things. It's not this whole big ol' crash and burn Hollywood thing. I don't actually believe that. I don't see that. Now, a sadistic part of myself would like to see that because I'm just angry at people and just get pissed off and think like, wouldn't I like to see people get fucked up? Wouldn't I like to see things get overthrown? Wouldn't I like to see a place that I have to go into every day or some shit like that uh destroyed and all that stuff in ruins um because I don't like feeling like a fucking slave. you know that's all that is. That doesn't mean that I actually believe that necessarily would be like a thing, you know. And I also just make the point known that a huge part of me is on the if that was a thing is on that side, even if it meant my own destruction. Because the way I look at it is like this, and I'm gonna really close because I know I dragged it on for almost 30 minutes. I don't feel that we as human beings have such a right to actually be here. Because it's disgusting. Um, being just 100% honest, people are disgusting. Um, people are fucking disgusting, and people don't respect what they should actually respect. So, in my mind, myself included, I'm not so big and bad that I think like, oh, I've deserved my spot here. I should be here. And it no, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, maybe I'm just lucky that I have luxuries in life and that I actually am here and so on and so forth. Like with some type of fucking humility. I don't look at it like the other way. So that's how I look at things. That's how I look at it, you guys. So it's not like I'm out here trying to say, oh, well, I'm so special that I deserve. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying I know who I am and I know what I believe in and I know what side I'm on. That's all. So, this video is like a kind of come join the party type of video. People that are like myself, um, can at least find like a some sense of belonging in the fact that we both agree with this. Now, this is not a popular opinion, so there's not a lot of people that are on board with this. but there are some, and I'm one of them. So there you go. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel. This channel mostly stays true to itself. It hasn't really changed. It's kind of been the same shit since it started and should continue to be the same type of shit. Not like in content. Content will get better, but I'm saying me as a person, nothing's really fucking changed. My views are the same, you know, for obvious reasons. So I'd appreciate it if someone would like, comment, sub, hit the bell, subscribe, do all that, because like I said, so people like us can have a platform, and so the videos will get better and better and will not be lame, so it won't be like, oh, this is some loser shit. Well, I need supporters just like all these other channels need supporters, just like Dark Waters and friggin' Cryptid Brothers and all those other channels need supporters. We need to support each other, those that are like myself. So that's the end of the rant, and have a good one.